Powerline TV. Stay tuned.
To another week and another episode of Family Life with Mama RITA. Family Life, building stable and happy homes. Last week, we started a topic. I didn't know people were so interested in that topic. I would have started a long time. Aish, the questions. So today I won't waste your time. What I'll do is I will rush through my presentation so we can have a lot of time to answer your questions. Last week we started sex in marriage. We looked at the ingredients that can help you maintain a good sex life. We looked at communication, and we said good communications can help you build your sex life. If there's anything that is not going well with your sex life, you need to talk about it. There are people who've been married for 25 years, 30 years. They have never discussed their sex life before. Last week I gave you a homework. Today I'm giving you another homework. The new homework today is that tonight, after I am done, communicate, talk about sex, find out what your sex life is like. You'll be surprised what will come out of your spouse. You'll be surprised your spouse will tell you all this while he's been starving or she's been starving. So please talk about it. The other thing we spoke about is taking good care of yourself, exercising, eating well, taking good care of your odors, body odors, your mouth, what you must do. And then we also looked at scheduling a day. We realized that these days the stress of life makes people, I don't know whether they pretend that there's no word called sex or there's nothing called sex. They tend to forget. So I believe that if a day is scheduled, it doesn't matter how busy you are. You know, on that day is a day for daddy and mommy. And then we also looked at avoiding comparison. Sometimes we are comparing ourselves to our former and our ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend. The styles they were doing. Stop comparing. Stop comparing yourself with other couples. Stop comparing yourself with what you hear and what you watch on TV. And then we also looked at initiating sex. It's not a one-way thing. It's not one person who must initiate sex all the time. You've been married for 20 years. You've never initiated it. Today, try it. And then the last thing we looked at is maintenance sex. And I said maintenance sex is you do it irrespective of the fact that you are in the mood or not. And sometimes I've come to realize maintenance sex, you are not in the mood, but it ends up being one of your bests. So you are doing maintenance sex just to keep the marriage, just to keep the love rolling, just to keep the romance rolling, just to keep the oneness rolling, just to satisfy your partner. But sometimes maintenance sex can be very good. you end up enjoying it even when you are not in the mood. Try it and see. And then I promised you that today we'll be looking at the benefits of sex, benefits of having sex. I won't take my time. I want to rush through it. Listen carefully so that you can ask all your questions. So, benefits of having sex. There are physical, psychological, emotional, and medical benefits of love making. Physical, psychological, emotional, and medical benefits of love making or having sex. Number one, benefit of having sex. It improves sleep quality. My darling, if you are not sleeping well, you are going through insomnia. You sleep for 2 hours, you are up. Or you go into bed and you stare at your ceiling for so many minutes and so many hours before sleep falls over you. Try sex. Orgasm. And don't ask me what orgasm is. I believe you know it. Orgasm releases a hormone called prolactin, which aids in good sleep. So if your partner is not sleeping well, it means that she's not having good sex or he's not having good sex. Tonight, try it. Give him a very good one and see what will happen. He will sleep like a baby. Number two benefit of having sex. Better self-image. Ask the women and they will tell you. Sex can boost your self-esteem and boost your self-image and reduce the feelings of insecurity. You see, sometimes your wife thinks that you are sleeping out. Sometimes she's suspecting that you have a girlfriend out or you have girlfriends out. Little does your wife know that your phone or your iPad is actually your second wife or your girlfriend. Please, once she's having good sex, number one, it will build her self-confidence and self-image. And then number two, every insecurity in her life will vanish. She will notice and realize that there's nothing. I mean, there's nobody competing with her. So if your husband or your wife is having a problem with her self-image or his self-image, he's losing confidence. My darling, he's losing confidence because he's not having sex. And he thinks that maybe you don't love her anymore, maybe you don't love him anymore, maybe his appearance or her appearance doesn't appeal to you anymore. Talk about it. You'll be surprised what will come out tonight. I've gone through it before, so I know what I'm talking about. For lack of time, I won't go through it. Maybe during the question time, I will. Number 3, sex relieves you from stress. Sex can be an effective stress management technique. In Arizona State University, a study was made on 58 middle-aged women, 58 middle-aged women, not young women, middle age. The young women don't have a problem with middle-aged women. And it was discovered that anytime they had good sex, or anytime there was continuous sex, number one, it relieved them of stress. And number two, the following day, every mood swing ceased. You know, women go through mood swings. But anytime they had good sex, they had a higher positive mood swing that even followed them throughout the day. I mean, assuming they had sex tonight, try it and see. The following day, they had a positive mood swing the whole day. So, what people do not know is that very good sex releases a hormone called cortisol. C-O-R-T, and I don't know why that word, cortisol. I don't know why that word. It's a French word, I see. Please look for the meaning. And then adrenaline, which affects lasting, listen to me, it affects lasting reduction of stress. So try it and see. This is a case study from Arizona State University. Number four, advantage of having sex. It improves the immune system and immune function. Sex improves the immune function. Regular sex may even lower your likelihood of having cold and flu all the time. So I believe the one cure of COVID-19 or COVID is good sex. Because if good sex can build your immune system, and we've been told that anytime your immune system is built up, you don't get sick too much. The immune system fights any infection, it fights sicknesses, it fights cold, it fights cough, and it fights flu. So I believe that good sex can help us positively this COVID time. Number five, sex, advantage of having sex, it lowers pain level. Good sex lowers pain level. What good sex does is that it releases another hormone called endorphins. And what endorphins does is that it calms you down. When it calms you down, it can reduce migraine and it can reduce back pain. Number six, oh, I love this one. Good sex can promote weight loss. You are complaining your wife is getting fat. Please stop complaining. Give him good 30-minute sex. Aish. And a good 30-minute sex burns an average of 200 calories. Yeah. So if you want to burn 400 calories, go 1 hour. So what sex also does is that it releases a brain chemical during sex and during good sex, it reduces a brain chemical that reduces your cravings for food. So you see, when you have good sex, your wife wakes up in the morning and the breakfast, she's picking it. If your wife is eating too much, check it. She's not getting enough sex. If your husband is eating too much, he wants to eat every food in the house, it means he's not satisfied in bed. Try it. Number 7, I believe you are hearing some things. Number 7, sex lowers blood pressure. If you check your blood pressure today and you were 150/90, please, tonight, have good sex. Sex has been linked with lower blood pressure. You see, what elevated pressure does is that it increases the risk of heart disease and stroke. So sexual activity helps dilute the blood vessels, increasing the delivery of oxygen and nutrients throughout the body, whilst reducing the blood pressure. I hope somebody heard me. So if you want to reduce your blood pressure, if you're a woman and you want to reduce your blood pressure, give in to your husband. If you're a husband and you want to reduce your blood pressure, give in to your wife. And then number 8, you see, there are certain things I have tried myself and it works. Number 8, it reduces menstrual pain. Before I got married, when I was in school, through secondary school, you know, and everything, I used to have this severe menstrual pain, menstrual cramps. I mean, it was so bad, very, very bad, such that sometimes I could stay out of the classroom and be in the sick room or the sick bay. I mean, it was bad. I would have to throw up. Sometimes I got dizzy. Sometimes I had severe headache. Immediately I got married and I started having sex. I don't know where the the menstrual cramps went. I don't know. It vanished. Please, if you are not married, don't go and try it. This one that you want to stop, you want to have sex to reduce your menstrual cramp, please come and see me. I will show you how to reduce your menstrual cramps without having sex. But once you get married, try it. It stops. I mean, with me, it vanished forever. It never came back again. All the vomiting during my period, all the headaches during my period, all the feeling dizzy ceased. Or Sewara cortisol. Try it and it works. And sometimes even the flow is lighter. Once you start having sex during marriage, the blood flow during your menstruations reduces. There isn't that heavy flow during your periods. And then number 9, sex gives you happiness. Higher rates of happiness happens during sex. According to a 2015 study conducted in China, more consensual sex, in other words, where you consent to the sex, and better quality sex increases happiness. Men, watch your women. The night you give them good sex, they wake up in the morning and they are singing and they are humming and they are so nice to everybody and they are preparing good breakfast. They are working around the house with joy. And then women watch the men. Anytime they have good sex, they wake up in the morning and they are whistling all around the house and they are calling you for morning devotion and they are so happy. So if you want your husband to be happy around the house, please try it. If you want your wife to be happy around it, try it. Give in to sex, and the whole day they are happy, they are singing. And I always say that when we even get to church, I can tell the women that are enjoying sex, the women that are not enjoying sex, you can see it through their worship. During worship time in church, they don't worship well. They go to the altar, they are lying on the altar, and they are crying. And you can see that this crying is a crying of lack of sex. Even the pastors, when they are preaching, for us who are experienced, we can tell during their preaching whether they are having good sex or not. So if you're a pastor's wife and your husband is not preaching well, my darling, it's lack of cortisol. Number 10, sex breeds intimacy. Orgasm releases another hormone called oxytocin. OXYTOCIN. And that hormone is a feel-good hormone that bonds the two of you together. It's a bonding hormone in your body. So number 1, sex helps you feel closer to your partner. And it even lowers the tendency of divorce. What a lot of people do not know is that divorce is not only a breakup of the marriage, but divorce is the breakup of the home, and divorce is the breakup of the family. I hear these days a lot of pastors, speaking loosely that, so and so person, so and so apostle, so and so reverend, so and so pastor divorced the wife and his church was still doing well. My darling, what they don't tell you is about the family, it's about the children, and it's about the breakup of authority in the home and the breakup of authority within the family. Children are not doing well academically because mommy and daddy are always fighting, and because mommy and daddy have divorced. So, sex bonds you together. Sex reduces the rate of divorce and lowers the risks of divorce. Sex is the most intimate physical act you and your partner can experience. Without it, it's very, very easy. Number 1, not to feel connected. Number 2, lose touch. And I learned something when I did a course in GIMPA. It was, what was the course? It wasn't my first degree, before my first degree, something, women in leadership. Yes, the course is Women in Leadership Part 3. And within the course, a medical doctor came to talk to us. And the medical doctor was talking about touch. And what touch actually does is that touch increases your lifespan. Just ordinary touch with your spouse can increase your lifespan by 15 years. This one has been researched. I'm not just saying anything. It's something I learned when I did this course in Gimpa. So try it. Sex bonds you together. Sex makes you touchy. Sex makes you wake up and feel like giving your wife a hug. Sex makes you wake up and feel like giving your husband a hug. Sex makes you wake up and feel like giving your husband a massage. Sex makes you wake up and feel like, massaging the feet of your wife or your husband. If your wife used to massage your feet, massage your shoulders, massage your scalp, and she stopped doing it and he stopped doing it, it means that she's not getting enough of sex. Once she gets enough of sex, trust me, you won't even ask for a massage. She will do it. She will wake up in the morning and start massaging, your shoulders, your back, so that every stress will be over. She wakes up in the morning and without you telling her, she's massaging your feet. She wakes up in the morning without you telling her or without you telling him, and he's doing it. This is because he's getting enough of sex. And apart from all the things I have spoken about, I want you to know that sex gives long life because sex gives you the opportunity to hug. We will go on a short break, commercial break, and we will come back with Ask Mama Rita. All the questions we didn't answer last week, we will do it this week. And then also bring in your questions. Somebody, I think about 2 people asked last week if they can phone in. Maybe we will do phone in next week. But today, oh my God, we have over 50 questions. And I think it's about 62. That was as of last week. And during the week, more questions kept coming. But you can still bring in your questions and then we will see what we can do. If we are not able to finish the questions today, we will do it next week. God bless you. We will go on a short break and we'll be back.
Hi, glory to Jesus. My name is Sam Crunchy Ankra, the Apostle General. Thank you for your prayers and thank you for your support for me all these years. Hallelujah. Now listen to this one. It is an error never to desire to be great, for it is more sinful not to desire greatness than to desire it. Think about it. There are many times when we desire to be great, they say we are proud, they say we are arrogant, they say we have ego. But I came here to let you know, Daniel chapter number 11 verse 32, it says, for the people who know their God will be strong and they will do exploits. You were born to do exploits. You were born for greatness. That is why I don't want you to miss 2021 Shakers and Movers Conference. People are coming from all over this nation and all over the world, and we are converging at the Oil Dome here in Accra for 2021 Shakers and Movers Conference. We are beginning Friday, 22nd 7th, at 6:30 p.m. miracle service. And then on Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., it is the great conference. And then on Sunday at 5:30 p.m., it is the communion impartation service. The theme is Give Me the Key. And I'll be dealing with the subject of the key to your destiny. The Lord has impacted upon me the oil and the anointing and the wisdom of a father to speak to you into your life, to speak into your life of greatness, into your destiny of greatness. Make a date. Don't miss it. You and your friends and your loved ones. All roads lead to the oil dome here at Obejepi Lamte Circle. Great speakers have been assembled to be a blessing to this gathering. Bishop Charles Ajinasare, my good friend, will be speaking. Bishop Dominic Alote from the United States of America is coming with a contingent, and they are going to be a blessing to us as well. Then your mother, the Premier Lady Mama Rita, will be speaking into your lives, and she will be showing you how you can pick a good wife and how you can pick a good husband, like she has and like I have. And then yours truly, Sam Crunchy Ankara, I will be descending in my father's and a prophetic anointing. And the Lord says, I should speak greatness into your life and speak you into your destiny of greatness. The theme is Give Me the Key. Shakers and Movers 2021, the Oil Dome. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 27, 28, 29. And God bless you. I will meet you there.
Welcome back to Family Life with Mama Rita. Last week we started the topic sex in marriage, and I went through what can cause you or keep you or maintain your sex life. And then today we have gone through the benefits or the advantages of having sex. So you see, having sex is not just for producing babies. Having sex is not just for enjoyment, but having sex has a lot of advantages. If you just joined us, we are going to do Ask Mama Rita. There are so many questions. I don't know how we can finish, but if we don't finish, trust me, next week I will come on again with Ask Mama Rita. With me to answer the questions, oh my God, as Reverend, so we are moving to the UK. So technology has made things very easy. My special guest today is Reverend and Mrs. Charles Atakwabena Bene. They've been with us before, and people loved them, their frankness and their openness. Hey, I hear you are a doctor of sex. So you will help us answer the questions.
Professor of Sexology.
And then also with me is Reverend and Mrs. David Doku.
Job.
Thank you.
So co-hosts, let it flow.
Yes. Thank you. As you can see, Reverend Doku and wife and myself, we are styled in our WMG t-shirts, telling you that we are really fired up for the Movers and Shakers conference that is happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Oil Dome with the Apostle General, with Mama Rita, with Reverend Bishop Charles Ajinasare, and Bishop Alote from the US. It's going to be massive. Give me the key.
Give me
if
the
you
keys.
Haven't registered yet, please go online, camp.royalhousechapel.org. Place your registration, be a part of it. Everyone across the nation, across the globe is going to be tuned into Royal House Oil Dome this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. is going to be something else. Keep your questions coming in, +233-200-515253. And mommy, someone sends a message. I think it's Pastor D or Pastor Mas. I can't tell the difference. They are saying cortisol is also responsible for sharper brain activity. So if you see somebody who is not taking good, intelligent decisions, it means cortisol is finished. Cortisol. Asa. All right. We'll go straight. This one is coming from Kafui Agomeda Tete. She says, good delivery, Mama Rita. We love these teachings.
Thank you.
Amanda also sends, and she says, Mama Rita, my husband is really enjoying today's teachings.
Wow.
Because you they are not enjoying, it's your husband. All right. So our first question for the day. Good evening, Mommy. My wife is an addict of oral sex. I don't have issues with it, but she wants that one more than penetrative sex. And when she's had orgasm from the oral sex, she's satisfied and feels reluctant to do the penetration sex and leaves me hanging.
Wow. We will move to UK. So, a husband is complaining of the wife who loves oral sex. But then, when she's done with orgasm, she doesn't want penetration. So, Reverend and Mrs. Charles Bene, you are good with oral sex. I can see that. So let us go.
Good evening, Mommy, and thank you for having us on again.
Good evening and welcome.
It's really lovely to be on here again. So I think it's also I'll use another aspect where perhaps the lady is not satisfied during penetration. So then I'll use your term, Mommy, as the top up sex. So what I would advise is satisfy the husband with the penetration and then move into the oral sex, which she gets the orgasm from, and in that way both of them are happy and they can all have the cortisol flowing for both of them. So I think so, because once you're satisfied, once you've had orgasm, you just relax, but then you find out the person that do the penetration, the husband comes, but this all boils down to the communication. Speak about it and have the understanding between the two of you that this is what would satisfy both of you, because it should be that both of you are happy with sex, not one person just happy. Otherwise, one person will be sharp on the cortisol and one person will not be sharp on it. So we both need each other to be sharp on it. So you are happy with penetration and I get my top up and both parties are happy, we can fall asleep. I think that would be the best thing, right?
Reverend Charles.
Yes, thank you, Mommy, and good evening, everybody. I think my baby's just put it perfectly because
Reverend
I'm
Charles,
sorry.
I didn't hear you. You said
My baby.
your baby. Hey,
Yes.
I need to be a baby tonight.
Yeah. She put it perfectly. Maybe I'm thinking that orgasm can have a very exhausting effect on a person based on who it is, and it's sometimes it can feel like you've given everything that you can give and have nothing else to give. So it is possible that that's what this lady may be going through. So as as my wife said,
As your baby said.
as my baby said, I think you should just switch who goes first and who goes next. And I think that will solve the problem, because I know that has done a lot of magic for us in our own life, our own bedroom life.
So you heard Reverend and Mrs. Bennett. Normally, what you do is, if she enjoys oral sex, I always say that oral sex and fingering is a top up. That is the word I use. So when you have penetration and she's still not satisfied, the other things you do is top up. So what you do is start with the penetration. So after the man has gotten his orgasm, then you move on and give her the top up. That is the oral sex. And like Reverend Charles said, most often after the orgasm, you feel like, oh, I'm done, I am okay. You feel so relaxed and you don't want anything else. All you want is, cuddling and all that. So let it be the other way around. You start first, have your penetration, have your orgasm, and then you could move on to the top up, do the oral or the fingering, let her be satisfied, and you realize that at the end of the day, both of you feel so relaxed, so happy, and you are getting all the benefits and the long life of sex. We can move on to the next.
Yes, mommy. This one goes straight away. Say, mommy, good evening. My wife is seated by me.
Hey.
Full stop. She just doesn't see the need for sex in our marriage. She says her urge is gone. Can you help us address it? And he repeats, she's seated by me. I have tried it all.
Reverend and Mrs. Doku.
It's amazing. She doesn't see the need for sex in the marriage. I want to believe counseling didn't go down well in the first place, because if you go through premarital counseling, you are told the essence of having sex. And once that goes down well, you look up to it in the marriage, and then through communication and through series of sex, you would always wish for more. Maybe they are also not doing something right. It could be that the man is not appealing to the woman, and so sex puts her off. It could be personal hygiene, like you mentioned the last time. It could be that there's lack of communication even in their sex life. Some people just go through the act and don't even talk after the act. It is good enough to talk before the act and also talk after the act. So what turns the woman on? What puts her off? Could it be the odor from your mouth or your armpits, or it could be a lot of things. So they really need to have a time to sit down and actually have a day to do a sex talk and talk about
you don't even bath before sex.
Exactly.
You don't shave.
A lot of men don't like bathing before going to bed.
No,
So
this one is not empirically proven. There's no scientific
your sweaty
evidence.
Body from work, etc. You just want to jump on and have sex. It could also be that you don't engage in any foreplay. You just want to go straight into penetration. And it takes a while for a lot of women to get in the mood. And so like Mommy mentioned last week, you actually need to start from the day, from the beginning of the day, before the evening when you are ready to have sex. So you don't just come home, see her in probably an outfit that you think that, okay, it's a good opportunity to have sex. And so let's jump on it and then start. You need to be intentional about your sex life. You need to find out what really makes your wife happy. What can I do to make her know that I am actually in the mood for sex? And if you do that, sometimes you don't even need to talk. A note, a sentence on WhatsApp, a text message, a gift, just one word will let her know what the day is going to be like. Will let her know that tonight something must happen. So they actually need to sit down, do a lot of talking, and then I think it would pick up. but it's really bad that the woman doesn't see the need for sex.
So for me, I will see it at the preparatory stage.
Yeah.
How is she prepared for the sex? And so you can see for such a woman, there's a lot that is going wrong with the preparatory. And so once it happens over a period of time, she does not even have the edge and the drive. I mean, when sex is coming, it looks more like it's another burden. It's another argument. Probably even the man does not even appreciate what she even does, even during the sex. And so all these things are coming into play. And so if they should have an open conversation, let a marriage counselor come in, book an appointment with you, Mama Rita, or a seasoned counselor. I'm sure that with the teachings that we're doing on Family Life series, is going to go a long way to improve upon their sex life. Sometimes what you are not aware of, you are not able to address. But once the veil, is dealt with, and the covering is dealt with, and you have information, then you can see that you begin to enjoy your sex life.
God bless you. I hear so many men say, my wife doesn't like sex, or my wife doesn't enjoy sex. My darling, listen to me well. There is no woman who doesn't like sex. There is no woman under the sun who doesn't like sex. The reason why it looks like certain women don't like sex is because they never enjoy sex. So they see sex as a waste of time. That's number one. They see sex as a waste of time. Why would I come and lie down, a man jump over me and pam, 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 pam. He's done and he goes snoring. So that's what we call the foreplay. Foreplay. You know, men can just watch something and they are turned on immediately.
Sharp.
They see the nakedness of their wives and they are turned on immediately. They hear something or they are reading something and then they are turned on quickly. But like I said last week, women are like electric irons. When you put it on, it takes a while for it to hit before you can enjoy ironing with it. So you need to prepare the woman, and that is what we call the foreplay. There are so many ways of preparing the woman. Number one, if you know you want to have sex, make sure you are very nice to her in the morning, during the day. You don't say nasty things to her and then you think that she can just open up and enjoy sex with you. You can't have an argument with a woman and then think that she can enjoy sex with you. You did something to her, you haven't apologized, and you think that you can just enjoy sex with her. So all these things play a role. She's so tired after work. You never helped her in the house with cooking, with laundry, with washing dishes, with tidying up and all that, and then you want to enjoy sex with her. The children are still awake.
Exactly.
They are awake. They are in the hall. You know children. Children can come and say, Mommy, Mommy, at any time. So the woman is thinking about all these things. You want to have sex with a woman and the door is not locked. I have grown-up children who are supposed to knock before they come into my bedroom. But still, before we have it, I want to make sure that our door is locked. So anytime my husband, the first question I ask, is the door locked? I mean, all these things play a role in the woman's life. And then the other thing, after all these things, you know, not arguing, not fighting, not insulting, when you start, how do you start? My darling, the breast is there for you. How do you play with the breast? We have what we call the clitoris. How do you play with it? So all these things put her in the mood.
Even some people, the ears.
Even some people, the ears. So this is why some people under the feet. So this is why you need some people even the lips. Some people the tongue. So this is why you need to talk about these things. Once you talk about it, then you know how well to prepare ahead. And in my practice as a counselor, I have also noticed that there are some women, you can do all these things and they will never reach orgasm. So that is why we have what we call the top up. Top up. For some people, the top up is the oral sex. That is why for me, any man of God that will come to me and say that oral sex is sin because we use our mouth to worship God. My darling, for me, every part of my being, I use it to worship God. My nails, I use it to worship God. My hair, I use it to worship God. My makeup, I use it to worship God. My very being, I use it to worship God. So every part of my being is to worship God. People say that because we have made sex dirty. My darling, God created sex. And after God created everything, he sat back and the Bible says that, and God noticed and said, everything he created is good, depending on your interpretation. So, my darling, after you have had your orgasm and the woman hasn't reached orgasm, find out what is it that I can do to make her also reach orgasm. Is it oral sex? Is it the fingering? Even the fingering. Is it when she lies on her back or she lies on her side? I mean, try so many things. And I'm telling you, once you get it right, she will be the one that will be asking for it. There's no way she will wake up and say, I'm not in the mood, or I don't want it, and I'm too tired. There were times I had said I was tired, and I even enjoyed it more than my husband.
Uhuru.
So do it well, and then, you know, you would love it. If after everything we have said, there's still a problem, book an appointment with me. Come, let's sit down, and then we will talk. I've had conferences for couples and even marriage counselors. It was so surprising to the husbands that their wives had never ever had orgasm.
Wow.
So we spoke about the top up. One pastor called me and said, Mommy, the top up worked. In 20 years, I heard my wife cry for the first time.
Wow.
For the first time during sex. So there are so many things that sex entails. As you listen to us tonight, practice it.
Awesome. And mommy, it's interesting. This is fact. In all of creation, every living thing engages in sex for procreation.
Yeah.
But there are two mammals who have sex also for pleasure.
That's right.
And that's the dolphin and humanity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Research.
Just
The cortisol is working.
Mommy, I get cortisol. I'm
It's
thinking.
working.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
are thinking
I
right.
get plenty of cortisol. All right. Well, we will go to this next question. Says, good evening. My wife uses a lot of things to tighten herself and is giving her vagina odor instead. I have politely tried informing her about it, and she keeps telling me it's normal. Mommy, I just don't enjoy sex anymore with her. The odor is super massive. She's seated with me watching right now.
Nice.
Address her.
We will address you. We are moving to London, and I think the women will be the best ones to answer these questions. So, Mama Rabba, over to you. And I think Reverend Charles can also add to it.
Thank you, mommy. So I have this. I heard about this vaginal steam thing. When I was in Ghana,
Vagina
and
what?
it's called a vaginal steam.
Steam.
Steam, yes.
S-A-M.
Steam.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's supposed to be herbs and other things that they put in the water, and they put it in like something like a toilet seat, and you sit on it, and the steam goes. You know, like when you have babies and you sit on hot water.
Yeah.
So this one is a fancy one.
Okay.
So I had been in Ghana for 4 months, and I was coming to London to meet my husband. So the day before I was coming, don't act like you don't know because you asked me to enjoy it. So the day before I was coming, I went to sit on this thing. Mommy, it was the most horrific thing I ever experienced.
Wow.
It was painful. I was sitting on a thing and I was hitting myself for paying so much money for this nonsense.
Wow.
A day later, I got home a day later. I said, do you smell anything? We couldn't smell any of the rose smell, none of the lavender or whatever they put in them. Nothing. You couldn't smell anything.
Yes,
so that was waste of money. But what I got was a yeast infection.
Wow.
And which was very, very off-putting. Now, when I was constantly pregnant and having children, and I would have these infections, is one of the reasons I barely use public toilets, because I used to get all these things from a public toilet. Now, my GP said to me that all these things that we want to use to make the place smell like roses and everything, your vagina is not supposed to smell like the rose flower. It's not supposed to smell like your perfume. All that it needs is a good water rinse with washing it out, and then that's it. You need to understand that the only person who can tell you how you really smell down there is your husband. And sometimes my husband will get into bed and I'll pass by him and what's that smell? And I know exactly what he means. Wow. It's annoying. So it's annoying, mommy. But then,
Mama Rabba, yes. This is why it is good to communicate. If you didn't have a husband who could tell you that, what's the bond? I mean,
and mommy, that's the phrase.
I know my son.
It's offensive, but it gets me up and back into the bathroom. And I mentioned, I think the last time we were on, I mentioned this particular contraceptive that I had inserted that was given off a smell. And so as a woman, perhaps you're not confident and you feel that you have to use other things to mask the smell. A good wash will do a perfect job. Constantly cleaning it. I realized that we like to use satin and silk underwear. And that too, it holds it makes the sweat. It holds it. So when you take your underwear off, it smells a lot. And so if you want to be romantic, maybe have a shower and put it on. And when you finish, don't go through the day with it. That is what I found. And that's what my GP said to me when I went to the hospital, that you should try and use more cotton underwear because I would use G-strings, and I have underwear with pearls and everything, mommy, all those things.
With pearls.
All those things did not help. But then, mommy, the bottom line is you should really listen to your husband, because he's the one that you want to please. He's the one that you want to have everlasting intimacy with. So you should really not get offended. I'm sure your husband is not as raw as my husband, and even when he says it, I still take it on, because if he doesn't tell me, somebody else will smell it and go away and have a negative impression about me.
Yes.
Do you want to add to
yes.
It?
Yes. Just quickly to add, she mentioned that her GP said, her GP said, her GP said. So sometimes it's good to seek medical help.
Yeah.
You know, when
sorry, for those of you in Ghana and in Africa.
GP is not Ghana Post.
GP is not Ghana Police. GP is General Practitioner. It's a doctor. So we will just say a doctor, but they will say GP is not Ghana Police, please. He's not talking about
and it's not the same as herbalist.
It's not the same as herbalist. This one is from my co-host. So GP simply means your doctor. Please go ahead, Reverend Charles.
Yeah, so seek medical help. You know, get to a doctor, let them find out, because scientifically speaking, everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
And everybody's body reacts differently to things.
Yeah.
You were mentioned serotonin, you were mentioned dopamine, you were mentioned oxytocin. These are all hormones that the body secretes, reacting to the things in the environment, what's going on. And everybody's body reacts differently and has different levels that it secretes. So it's important at some point to talk to somebody who can actually help. And I also wanted to say this for people who find it difficult saying, it all goes down to communication. It may seem like it's easy for me as Charles Bennett to tell my wife, hey, you know, what's coming from down there is not very glorious. You know, it may seem it's easy.
Say it that way, then.
It may seem it's easy, but the truth is it's never been easy for me, because I consider her feelings. I consider how she'll feel about it. And I don't want her to be self-conscious, because it can also have a negative reaction. Because once somebody starts becoming self-conscious, then they lose their sense of confidence. So you have to find nicer ways of saying it. And then it's all about approach, you know, how you say it. I don't particularly have a very soft approach to my wife, because we've built our relationship to the level where she will tell me and I will tell her, period. You know, so I guess building your relationship to that level, you start from somewhere, but you build and you get there finally.
God bless you. Deacon Anabiama, would you want to add anything?
Yes, a little bit. I think they've said much,
Good.
and that's very good.
Okay.
There's a natural smell of the palace or the vagina that I think a lot of people probably have not taken note of. When you clean yourself very well, there's this natural smell it comes with. And sometimes when I take off my underwears, my husband will say, "That's my smell." And so
that's my smell. Oh, wow. That's my smell.
You know you are taking care of yourself very well.
General.
On days when you have gone through the day's sweat, you have wee-weed, and you probably didn't clean well, etc., and it goes off, he would tell you that, I think you need to shower, etc. So like they said, communication is very, very important. And as a woman, I don't think you should take offense if your husband is telling you that it is not smelling well, or probably whatever products you've gone to buy is not going down well. Like Mama Iraba said, you just need to clean well, wash and wash well. You need to bend down and wash well. Don't just pour water there and then wipe and think that the dirt will gather, it will start smelling, and then before, if you don't take care of
at the palace and what we cannot use. But I have seen a lot of, especially African women, use so many things because these were things that were passed on to us. We are using ginger, we are using wintia, I don't know wintia in English. We are using pepper, I don't know pepper in English. I mean, we are using all sorts of things. Number one, it's giving a lot of people infection. Number two, it's even giving people cancer. And then number three, it's giving people very bad odor. Sometimes you are using these things to tighten yourself up or to make you smell good. But unfortunately, the smelling good rather makes it worse. With me, I can't even use Dettol to bath. Because anytime I use Dettol to bath, I will have an infection out of Dettol. I can use black soap, what we will call the alata seminar. I can use it because anytime I use it, I get an infection. So there are things that I try to avoid. So you need to know yourself and then know what you can use. My darling, all you need is water. All you need is water. You don't even need soap. Maybe you can use feminine wash. But even with the feminine wash shouldn't go inside the palace. It must only go at the hairy place to
Freshen it.
freshen you up.
The snail area. The snail area.
The snail area, you don't touch anything. He's telling me snail area. Please don't use soap. Don't use anything. Water is just good. And then the other thing that I realized that makes people smell is the anus. We bath, we take care of the palace, but we don't take care of the anus. My darling, when you bath, you need to wash your anus. That one you must wash with soap and water, because that is where all the feces comes from. And over a time, it even gets infected. If your husband is not very experienced and he's going through the first hole and goes to the second hole, and after uses the second hole, uses the first, you will get an infection. So please wash the anus very well. And then in between the anus and the vagina, as a space, a lot of people wash the anus, wash the vagina, and leave that space. That space also collects a lot of infection. A lot of wee-wee stays there, a lot of feces takes there. So make sure that in between that, the anus and the vagina is also
It's called
washed,
Stamford Bridge.
or Sawara, is washed very well. And then make sure that when you are done, wipe the place very well. And make sure that the portion of the towel that you use in wiping the anus, don't use that portion to wipe the vagina. I'm always fighting with my husband, and I know he's listening to me. He will just finish, wipe his face, and then go like this. And I say, I'm using the same towel. We've used the same towel since we got married, and I'm not ready to change. I mean, it's one of the things that keeps us together. So please watch these things. And then for the men, when it is time you want to finger your wife, make sure that your hands are well washed. Sometimes a lot of the men are giving their wives infection without knowing. And then before you have sex, the penis, make sure is washed well. If you haven't gone through, how do you call it? Circumcision. Make sure you pull
the foreskin.
Pull the foreskin and wash the place very well, because a lot of dirt stays within the foreskin. And anytime you have sex with your wife, she gets infected and it makes her smell. And you think that she's the one who is not taking good care of herself. But sometimes the problem comes from you. So these are the things we need to watch out. Please stop buying things from the public transports. Instagram. Stop inserting things there. And then just water. And then if you want to stay tight, listen, don't use hot water. If you want to stay tight, use cold water. And I'm not saying ice water. I mean room temperature water. Just room temperature water keeps you very, tight. And then there's something I found very, very helpful. It doesn't have side effects. It's called colloidal silver. Either colloidal silver or silver colloidal. You get it from the health shops. It's so good for cold. It's so good for cough. It's good for sore throat. It's good for infection. It's a bit expensive, but some people even use it in washing their vegetables. You can use it to wash the pelvis, the vagina. It keeps you from infection, it keeps you clean, and then it also keeps you tight. And then even during sex, if you really want, the man to feel you very well, feel you inside, during the penetration, you can hold yourself, squeeze yourself, my darling. You'll be calling his mother and his father.
It's a fantastic move.
Shim yourself.
So all these things, please stop.
Yeah.
Using things that will make you smell. And then the husbands, you need to help your wife.
Yeah.
If your wife is, the odor is not good, talk about it. And in talking about it, talk about it nicely.
Politely.
Oh, I think that the palace, you need to take good care of yourself. And then if you've tried the things we are saying, the water and all that, and you are still not getting results, please seek help. Go and see a doctor. Mama Rabba said she saw her GP. You can see an ordinary doctor here in Ghana. If need be, they would refer you to see a gynecologist or anybody that is well endowed with women's affairs.
Great. You can't get this.
Can I say something?
You can only be here on Family Life Series.
And
building.
then one thing I also found it very
Yes,
good.
Mommy.
During sex, you can always have a very neat face towel or your old panties. And what I do is my old panties, I don't throw them away, but I make sure that they are kept very, very neat. And in between the sex time, if the place gets a bit watery or he says slimy,
Sticky.
what you can do is your husband or even you yourself, you can use it to just clean the place up inside, and then you get very tight, and then the game can continue.
Sharp. And
Mommy, can I say
in
something?
addressing the tightening, I think the sex position also makes a lot of
Sawara,
difference.
tell me.
Don't just be doing across my leg Van Damme. No, sometimes change it small.
Okay.
Do things. You'll be fine.
Reverend Charles wants to say something, so we can go over to
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Mommy. I just wanted to say that it's good to be ready and prepared for all these. Like you mentioned, that it's good to have a towel. I like to prepare. And when I have it on my mind that hey, it's gonna happen tonight. Even sometimes when we are sitting down, I start preparing. I get wipes, I put it somewhere by my side. I get hand sanitizer, I put it somewhere by my side. I get sweet scented chewing gum, I put it somewhere by my side. And then I get lubricants, I put it somewhere by my side. So I have all these things at arm's reach, because when you're in the middle of the action, it's very difficult to get up, walk to the dressing mirror, come back, or go to another room or the drawer or something. So I have it at arm's reach, and so they are all there, and it helps. I realize that instead of complaining that, oh, your mouth stinks, in the middle of the act, it can just put the person off, and then you know how women are. When they get put off, sometimes it's hard to come back to the same level of excitement that they were in. So I have the chewing gum. So sometimes I get the chewing gum in my mouth and I'm going to kiss her. She doesn't know that it's in my mouth. And then I just pass it on to her. And then she goes, that tastes really good, And then I don't have to complain, because I've actually solved the problem that I would have complained about by just passing it on. So you need to be creative, and then you need to be adventurous, and then you need to be prepared for some of these things before you go. So that's what I wanted to add.
And some of these things, you can keep them perpetually by your bedside. I mean, if you have a bedside drawer, just keep them. Because sometimes, you don't prepare 2 a.m. and how do you call it? 2 a.m. and he wakes up
Oh, that one.
and he wants action.
It's
So
called
when
mantra.
everything,
It's called mantra.
when everything is, you know, in your drawer, you don't have to now get up and, you know. And then for the women, even if you are going to bed and then you don't feel like having a bath, make sure that the palace is always clean. I have a bidet and it's part of me. I will make sure that before I go to bed, I would have used my bidet, clean the place well. So anytime he's ready, I am ready.
Awesome. Anytime he's ready, I am ready. We'll go straight to Nigeria, Ibadan.
Wow.
This is coming from Samson. Says, I'm 32 years and mommy, my wife doesn't give me enough sex.
32 years.
32 years.
Wow. So it means they are very young.
Very young in marriage. Says, I don't smell. I take care of myself. I don't have erectile issues. I take good care of my wife also. And I'm often very polite to her. But my wife has and never ever asked for sex. It is always me and me only. I recently told her I won't ask her for sex again. And surprisingly, mommy, it's been 2 months. She's not asked or made any effort as far as sex is concerned. I'm not getting very fed up with the situation. It's hurting, and it's hurting that I can't get sex in my own home. She watches every Wednesday, so please address her.
So she's watching.
She's watching.
Well, so for
A lot of the things that he's spoken about have come up already, but let's
that's right. That's right.
re-echo it.
So for her, you can see that she's coming from a certain history or a certain past where talking about sex is a taboo. So culturally, she's still enshrined in that old self, and I think it's about time you come out of your shell.
Yeah.
Communication is a bedrock, and is the most important thing for you to enjoy sex. And so there's a need for you to come out of that shelf. Come out of that shelf. And what the husband can also do is the preparatory stage.
Yeah.
Create an atmosphere,
Yeah.
probably maybe the house.
Yeah.
You've had sex in the last many years in the same bedroom.
Same position.
Same position. Move out of that place. Go to a new setting.
And Reverend David.
Yes.
I have, in my practice, I have known and seen and heard that for most women, when they move out of their homes, they enjoy sex, they call for sex, they reach orgasm and all that. In their own, setup at home, they never reach orgasm. Why? Because they are thinking about the children, they are thinking about work, they are thinking about a house help hearing her scream, all these things. Maybe they live in a family house, or maybe there's an in-law living with them. So all these things, play a part and a role. So I really like what you said, that sometimes moving out of the house creates a lot of,
I mean, you can imagine you go to a place like Aqua Safari, where she wakes up in the morning, there's breakfast already set in motion. I mean, she's having breakfast on the boat. I mean, and you're having so much excitement. She's go for horse riding. All these things are reducing her stress. So the environment alone, the green she's going to see, the waterfront, I mean, the ambience of the room, how even the setting is done. I mean, all these things take away the stress from her. So she comes in a very lively atmosphere. Now, at that stage, you have wowed her. I mean, she's heard about a beautiful place, has never been there. She goes there and the place is wow. Now, in that mood, you've already created some kind of excitement for her. Between myself and my wife, sometimes I mean, we get so caught up in so much activity. So we say, listen, we need to go out.
Yeah.
So at least every other month, let's have some outing where we have quietness, no disturbance, no baby crying, no mommy. I want how do you call it?
No. Indomie.
One day I was in the mood about to make my lunch, and then I heard Niyamo. He said, "Mommy, please, I want you to come and fry egg for me." Then I said, "Go to your sister. Your sister can fry the egg. She'll fry the egg for you." I said, "Niyamo, go, just go." So these distractions, I mean, they come in, and I mean, once you're in the mood and these things come in, it just draws you back. So change the setting, change the atmosphere, and I'm sure that if you are able to do that, for the first time, your wife is going to have the edge. And then giving of gifts. Give gifts. Surprise your wife. I mean, women, there's something about women with gifts.
Yeah.
When you go out of your way to surprise them, there's always that need to also do something to show the appreciation. So giving of gifts, celebrating certain landmarks in her life also go a long way to also create the atmosphere. So when you are able to do these things in combination and you've prepared her well, when you ask for the sex, she's already ready to have you, and then you can enjoy a very wonderful time together.
Before Deacon Anabiama comes in and maybe Reverend Charles and Mame Rabba, I handled the couple, and the man said, I do all these things. I buy her gifts, I buy her a car, and we go for holidays and blah, 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 and yet she doesn't like it. This is where communication comes in, my darling. You always need to talk. Maybe there's just some small underlying issue. I handled the couple like that, and only to realize that the woman has been raped before.
Wow.
And she's never been able to talk about it. So anytime the man wants to have it, that scene of the rape comes.
Wow.
And she's withdrawn. You know, sometimes it could be a medical issue. Sometimes she's not having natural orgasm and you don't know, you have to do the top up. So please, 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 I am pleading with all couples, talk. You can't be in a marriage 6 months and over and still be shy of each other, that you can't talk about these things openly. If you are doing everything we are talking about, I'm telling you, there's an underlying problem that you need to hit it on the nail, and then you'll be shocked.
That's very true, Mommy. I'm sure there's an underlying problem that needs to be discussed. Sometimes a lot of men feel they are having sex and they are having it right. And so if you do not talk about it with your partner, you may think that, oh, you're on top, you are there, but you're actually not doing anything.
Focal.
And if unfortunately your partner has had the opportunity to be with other people and is comparing, then you are in trouble. So it's always good to talk about it. And talking about it doesn't mean talk about it today and that's where it ends. The next time you are having sex, you don't talk about it. Talking about it means every time you are having the sex, you are talking about it. Because on the 24th may be good, but on the 26th may not be good. Something may have gone wrong. Or probably she's lost a relative, or a lot of things come to play.
Or there's something happening at work, or she's smelling and down there and you insulted her. Instead of talking about it, you insulted her with it. So ever since that day, she's called into her shell and she can't open up for sex.
That's true. So you really need to sit down and talk to your wife. Find out what is really worrying her or eating her up, that is making her feel, I mean, it's like a chore. Why should I go and look for work for myself? She's not enjoying it, so it's like, it's a chore.
That is it.
So who would go and say, give me work to do? They'll probably prefer to be in their corner and enjoy their moment than to go and ask for a chore. So if sex in your marriage is like a chore, your partner would definitely not ask for it. So definitely they need to sit down, talk about it, find out what is making it a chore, what is making it difficult. Apart from the background where some women are shy to even ask for it because they think they will look spoiled, or yes, they will look like a bad girl.
I know somebody in their, I think, either first week or first 2 weeks of marriage, the woman asked for it, and then the man said, Ashewo.
Wow.
Another time use kakapio. And ever since, she's never asked of it. And they've been 25 years in marriage.
Wow.
So you are very, very right.
So you really need to sit down and talk about it and be very cautious with your choice of words. Like Mommy is saying, sometimes it comes out and it doesn't go down well. And if it does, unfortunately, you need to find a way to apologize and make a conscious effort not to repeat such words again. Because women really take things very deep. And so one sentence you may have mentioned would probably take her years to get it out of her mind. And she would ask herself, would I do it again for him to call me this or call me names? What is there to enjoy sex for? Why should I ask for it? I'll probably be in my corner. When you are ready, come. When we are done with it. And probably that's the reason why she's not asking for the sex.
I mean, do you think temperament can play a role?
Certainly, it can play a role, but it depends on the two of you. For instance, if the person is an introvert, very shy, very reserved, doesn't talk, certainly might affect her, being the initiator of sex. But like we said, if you are communicating and you are talking about it and you ask her, I have been doing the initiation all the time, why haven't you ever asked for it? You will realize that there is something. Either she's too shy, or she's always seeing sex as dirty, or something. I don't know if were you going to add?
Yes, another thing I also notice is sometimes men do not see the essence or the need to change certain things in the home, and it really gets to us the women. For example, probably you've been married for the past 8 years and you've been using only 2 bed sheets.
Okay.
And the woman is tired of seeing the same bed sheets every time. But you don't see why, it's not torn, so why should we change it? Same curtain, let's change it a bit to add some spice, or let's lighten it up a bit. The room looks too dark. Very little things that women actually ask for that you might think that it is wasting of money may even be what will be turning your wife on. So you really need to take particular notice of certain things and make sure that you are probably providing the necessary things she's asking for in the home. If you cannot afford to go out, make the home welcoming. Buy pet towels yourself. Put the pet towels on the bed.
Change the mattress.
Change the mattress. It's weak. She's having body pain. She's complaining about it. It's not time yet.
If you are not massaging her.
you understand. And you don't even know about massage oils, aromatic oils you need to buy.
2-in-1 massage gels.
So a lot of things come to play. Try different things, and I'm sure it would put her in the mood and she would come asking for it.
I think we'll go on a short break.
Yep.
And then we will continue with Ask Mama Rita. It's getting very, very interesting. I know we are nowhere near the 60 questions, but trust me, certainly we won't finish today, but next week we will continue with Ask Mama Rita. Let your questions keep coming. And then we'll also have a time where people can phone in, and wives can ask questions and husbands can ask questions together. So we will go on a short break and we will be back.
Hi, glory to Jesus. My name is Sam Crunchy Ankra, the Apostle General. Thank you for your prayers and thank you for your support for me all these years. Hallelujah. Now listen to this one. It is an error never to desire to be great, for it is more sinful not to desire.
Yeah, we be the movers.
World Movers Generation is a conference for young men and young women. It's a conference for those who are ready to take over the nations. And our theme for this year is Give Me the Key. My darling, Apostle General, myself, and Bishop Ajenasari will be handing keys to you that will help your marriage today and tomorrow. And then on Sunday, Bishop Alote would also be here with us. After we've given you the keys on Saturday, on Sunday evening, you'll be crowning it with a powerful communion service. As you take the blood and as you take the body and as you apply the oil, trust me, the keys would have been given to you. What you couldn't do yesterday and you haven't been able to do today, by next weekend, you'll be able to do it. Make a date with us.
You're not gonna be famous. Yeah, but it go hard. The price don't lose God.
Precious one, I want to specially invite you to the Movers and Shakers Conference at the Royal House Chapel, Ahimfie. It's a season when keys to make you a mover and a shaker will be put in your hands. It's on the 28th of August. I want you to be there. I will be there. Your life will never be the same. God bless you.
A great name will not give you a good name. It cannot. But a good name will automatically give you a great name. You are a fantasy chaser if you see tomorrow, if you imagine tomorrow what you want to become, but you do not allow what you see tomorrow to drive your behavior today. Build friends that even if you are watching football with them, the discussions on the football will help you move ahead of time. Because of the seed that you are carrying, the child is not an ordinary child. The gift is not an ordinary gift. When you are a carrier of destiny, you don't live like regular people. In this camp 2019, the Lord is sending a new anointing under our Papa, the Apostle General. Some of you are going to be born afresh. They spoke negative things about you, but in this camp meeting, there is fresh oil. One prayer I prayed yesterday for you is that God, by the time I finish, let your inspiration fall upon this. Give our young people understanding of the times. May they take their destiny into their hands. May they create the businesses they want to create. May they do the things they want. When you have understanding, you know what.
Family Life with Mama RITA. We are looking, if you just joined us, we are looking at sex in marriage. And it's getting very, very interesting. My guest this evening is Reverend Charles and Mama Raba. They've been on my show before. They are the senior pastors of our IMC mission in Croydon, London. And then also with me is our WMG president. That is our youth pastor, Reverend and Mrs. David Doku. It's getting so interesting. We will move to London and then we will see if Reverend Charles and Mama Raba want to add up to the last question. The last question is a man who says that, I don't know how he was able to judge himself. He doesn't smell, he has no mouth, odor, he's doing everything for the wife. My darling, there's no woman that if your husband is correct for everything, will not want sex. Certainly there must be something that you haven't found out. So she's saying that he's the one who is always asking for sex. The wife never does and he's tired. So the last time told the wife, I'm never going to ask for it if you don't ask for it. And for 2 months, the wife hasn't. My darling, go back and ask for it. Maybe your wife is just shy. I mean, from the home she came from or the church she came from, sex was always a dirty language, and for her you can't even mention that name, let alone to ask for it. So, Reverend Charles, can we move to the next question, or maybe you want to top up on this one? Reverend Charles and
yes,
Mami
Mommy, so I wanted to add to that question. I think it ties in with another question that was asked earlier, about the wife resistance. I've forgotten, but I want to use myself as an example. So first of all, I came into my marriage with an abuse background. Good. So that meant that every time that I knew that we had to have sex, it was a big mental block for me. And it was all barriers raised up. It had nothing to do with the fact that he was smelling, or I didn't love him, or he wasn't treating me well. It was all to do with me. But thankfully, he knew the background I was coming from, and he was able to help me overcome those fears and assure me. So every time, even when we are actually having sex, he would pause and ask, are you okay? Are you enjoying it? Do you want me to stop? Although I don't think he really wanted to stop, but then he would still ask.
How do you know?
He would still ask, and then and then after I overcame that, I had I had children back to back, and it was almost like every time I had sex with my husband, I'll get pregnant. Every time it was just having children constantly, and then after a period of not having children, then I had another child after 10 years.
Mama Rabba, this is something that a lot of men do not notice and recognize and understand. So for some women, they don't want to have sex just because they are afraid that if they have sex, they'll be pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's exactly for me.
So go ahead.
That was exactly.
And that was with contraceptive as well.
Yeah, because my last born was born, I had contraceptives, and I still had hair. So when after I've had Stephanie, I didn't want to have sex, not because I've fallen out of love with him, but I was afraid. And even I was just saying to him when the question was being answered that sometimes I actually wanted to have sex, but I'll talk myself out of it. And then he asked me, well, when I do it, you don't say no. But then I knew it was my duty, and yes, I would enjoy it, but I would not initiate it. And every time, and sometimes even during the act, I'll still be thinking, is this going to happen? Am I going to get pregnant? And then sometimes even going into bed, I'll send one of the children to check if daddy is asleep, so I could creep into bed, not because I didn't want it, but all these things. So for the men who are listening, maybe you need to, and we keep going back to talking, but you really need to understand that you need to be open to listen to your wife telling you her deepest secrets. And sometimes we can't trust, you feel like you can't trust the man, because some men will say, oh, that is nonsense. Oh, that is stupid. How can you be feeling like this? Oh, that is nonsense. But what you call nonsense is what is affecting her, not initiating it, and all these things. So it's not about putting petals down. It's not about the roses. It's not about the beautiful music or whatever. But it's still that thing in my head that I could get pregnant. That thing in my head of reliving the sexual abuse that I went through. So these are things that I just wanted to put through to the two gentlemen who had sent out. So maybe your wife hasn't actually told you that this happened, but it could be. I'm not saying that is what it is, but it could be an underlying factor.
Yeah, and thank you, Mami. Also, it's really important for many couples to understand that there are, apart from the scenery, the change of bed, and by the way, change of mattress is a very powerful thing. So people need to try it more. You need a firmer mattress, one that is firm and hard. So see, it's not only the body part that needs to be tight, the mattress needs to be tight too.
Wow.
So that,
Wow. You are speaking out of experience.
yeah. And so
Reverend Charles, what do they do if they can't afford a new mattress? I suggest they do it on the floor.
On the floor, mommy.
Yes. Because the floor is hard enough.
Get a student's mattress. Sew it together.
The tightest place is the floor, so that's why. But my wife and I, we have, we call it baptizing the room, sofas, even on the stairs, leading upstairs, and we explore different places. But I wanted to say this: there can be serious psychological problems that a spouse could be suffering from, and it takes a lot of I don't want to use spiritual terms like discernment, but it takes a lot of observing and being attentive to the each other's reactions, actions, and reactions. Even during the act, you need to be very attentive and watchful. My wife, and I sometimes, even after 18 years, sometimes I'm touching and I don't touch the right place. The vagina, the clitoris, all of them are, you don't go looking to find out where it is to touch. You need to just be skilled like that. And sometimes you think you're touching the right place, but you're actually touching the wrong place. But my wife is so gracious. She will hold your hand and she will gently move it to the right place. Yes. And some people...
Sometimes the same place that you touched last week and she enjoyed. Maybe this week you are touching the same place and the place is hurting. Women are very, very complex beings. Very, very complex. So
and because of the chemicals that are released in women during their various different cycles, the ovulation cycle, menstrual cycle, premenstrual, post-ovulation, the body goes through chemical changes and sometimes even physical changes. For example, my wife was using a contraceptive that made her put on weight. It made her very self-conscious, and so it was not helping our bedroom life, And some of these things, you might not actually know what the actual cause is. It's very easy to antagonize your wife, become angry, throw tantrums. And mommy, this thing I'm saying, it's happened to us in our marriage. I know when I go personal, my wife will start nudging me on the chair as I talk, but just as long as it can help somebody, I was always constantly complaining that my wife would not initiate. When we started the marriage, she was so adventurous. Sometimes in the car, sometimes, she was so adventurous. She's nudging me now. She's nudging.
Please, let my son talk. He's healing some marriages.
But over the years, I don't know what demon has taken her adventurous. Sometimes I feel like pouring oil, laying hands and commanding that demon disappear from the house, because after a stressful week, dealing with church members, church problems, you look forward to the release, that release and stuff. And sometimes in the bedroom, it's war, because I feel like I'm always initiating, and I feel like if she does, it will make me also feel loved. It will also make me feel wanted.
Yes. Something will happen tonight.
The initiation has started.
The initiation has started.
You make me feel, and you see, what the other woman doesn't know is the man wants to feel wanted.
Yeah.
That you want me. So if you want me, make the move.
Okay.
If you want me, be the one to initiate and let me feel like you want me. But the truth is, all these psychological problems can be playing in her mind. And some people even have performance anxiety. They're thinking, I might not do it right, I might do it wrong.
Yeah.
Because I used to, I taught my wife how to kiss. And, it was a disaster at the beginning. Because, she would just blab my whole face. And then when she has to move the tongue into my mouth, sometimes I feel like somebody's put a rope in my 2 minutes around my mouth, and then I feel like take it out. And because of that, she had, stop looking at me like that. Because of that, she had performance anxiety.
Okay.
And so when you have performance anxiety, what happens is you prefer to just lie down for somebody else to do all the work, so that you won't be judged on your performance and stuff. So when these things happen, it always creates a lack of initiation. Again, communication. But counseling is also really, really helpful. I'm very adventurous. I do research. In fact, research is like 50% of my life. So I would research on all these things: how to kiss wrong, how to kiss right, how to use your hand right, how to use your hand wrong. I would do all the research, and then I teach her.
Okay.
Our bedroom has become like a university of sex.
Okay.
Because I take my time and I'll teach, and then she'll try it again. I said, no, you should have gone a little lower. You went too close to the nose, and then come down again. And then we go. And I'm telling you, sometimes, just a few nights ago, I actually almost clapped in the bedroom because she did something and she did it better than what I had even taught her. And I was like, wow. It was amazing. And then, finally, I want to add that,
I need to give you a certificate. Certificate of graduation.
Thank you.
No, I was pleasantly
I'll
surprised.
have this in my room.
I was so shocked because she got 3 A stars for just, But the final thing I want to add is, God created sex.
Yeah.
And for me, there is no better person to go to than the founder and the manufacturer himself. And that is where prayer comes in.
Okay.
I pray about my sex life.
Which is so important.
Pray, I go on my knees and I pray and I tell God.
This is so important. Please go there again. Reverend Charles, hit it again. People do not know that you need to pray for your sex life. If you are not enjoying your sex life, pray about it. Please.
I do. I pray. I pray about my own sexual problems that I feel, I came too early. I feel like, I'm too aggressive. I pray about mine too. And I always pray that I will please this one, because what people don't know is, if there are problems in the bedroom, it can affect your performance in the workplace, in ministry, in business. And these problems are not helpful. And then, Mommy, when you were talking, you released a lot of medical benefits that you get even from having a healthy sex life in the bedroom. And we're talking to married people. So it is very important that you pray. And I realized that somehow God was really helping me in the bedroom, because some things that I didn't learn from anywhere, I realized that I was just doing them. And the understanding that I had for my wife and for all the psychological issues of her abuse past and everything, I didn't go to any counseling school to learn how to understand. Nothing. It just came naturally through prayer and just, commitment. This is why a couple must be together. This is why the Bible is against argument, fighting in relationships and stuff, because the Bible even says that when you are not together as one, your prayers will be hindered. They will not go up to heaven.
Yeah.
And I feel that with the ministry we have, with the business we have, with the life we have, the children we have, I need to always be one with my wife for us to flourish and for everything to go well. And when I'm not one with her, I know from scripture that my prayers are not going as they should go. So this is really important. My question to you is, how often do you pray for your wife or your husband? How often do you pray for your sex life? How often do you pray that you will please your husband, that you will please your wife? How often do you ask the Holy Spirit for supernatural intervention? My darling, you don't need supernatural intervention for only miracles, for business and breakthrough. Some of us, our supernatural intervention occurs in the bedroom. So may the Lord help you in Jesus' name. Somebody say amen.
Amen. I receive it. Amen. I think that looking at the time, if we want to take another question, we might go beyond 9 p.m. Don't worry if you asked a question and we haven't answered. Next week, make sure that you are together with your wife or you are together with your husband, and then we will answer all the questions. I'm looking at we maybe doing Ask Mama Rita or doing a bit of presentation before. There's something that I want to talk about, but maybe we have to finish everything on the questions and then we can go to that. I want to handle painful sex. There are women that, they can't stand sex. I have a couple, I will bring them on. They got married and for 2 years they have never had sex. I mean, I'm not lying, they'll be here themselves. We will look at all these things. I have a lot of things we'll have to talk about. So next week, we will do Ask Mama Rita, and then I would bring the couple on, and then in 2 weeks, oh my God, if you miss next 2 weeks, I am bringing, I don't know whether I should call him a professor in marriage affairs or a professor in sex, Uncle Ebo White.
Wow.
It's coming in 2 weeks. So please, we have so much to talk about. Reverend David and Deacon Anabiama, thank you so much for coming. Please let them have your closing remarks, and then maybe you might come back next week. I don't know. Let me go. Reverend Charles says we should pray. So I'm going to pray about my sex life and decide who must come on next week. So please give us your closing remarks. And Reverend Charles and Mama Rabba will also give us their closing remarks.
Well, viewers, like you've all heard, sex is a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. The benefits are enormous. You cannot just have a marriage without sex. Talk about it. There's no dirtiness about sex. Be open with your spouse. Come out of your shell. There's a lot to enjoy. Sex is not just for procreation. It is for you to become intimate one with another, to enjoy each other's company. And like you said, it's an avenue to release stress. Our daily activities are becoming stressful. Raising the children, paying school fees, paying bills. And listen, sex is one point where you can release all your stresses and you know that there's one person who understands you. Let's go all out. Let's make our sex life very interesting. Let's make it fun. Let's make it enjoyable. It's not a chore. It's not hard work. It is time for you to have fun and explore your spouse. The body, everything about the whole body is sexual. Let's explore it, and I can guarantee you, if we listen to the things that Mama Rita has taught us from last week and today, trust me, your stress level is going to go down. You're going to have the best of your sex life.
Deacon Anabiama.
Sex is good. And when it's good, we always ask for more. So I entreat you to keep practicing and get better at it. Talk about it, communicate, every little thing about it, from the beginning to the end, from when your wife or your husband is trying to engage you in the act to turn you on, sending you text messages. If the English even in the text message is not good, address it. So what I'm saying is address every single thing that has to do with sex. And when you talk about it, you get better at it. Don't be shy about it if you're a woman. Ask for it. Asking alone sometimes turns the men on. So open up, ask, and enjoy your sex life. Marriage will be boring without sex. So please, if you are married, make sure you are enjoying it and you're enjoying it well. God bless you.
We would move to UK and get closing remarks from Reverend and Pastor. Hey, Reverend and Reverend. I shouldn't confuse God. Reverend and Reverend Charles Bene.
So the Bible says that Adam and Eve were both in the garden and they were naked and they were not ashamed. You need to know that you can't be naked before your Adam. And when you're naked with your weaknesses, with your strengths, your likes, and everything. And like we've all said about talk about what you really want. Don't think that you're a bad girl or you're whatever. But please learn that if you're happy in bed, you're happy everywhere. If you're confident in bed, you're confident everywhere. So learn to. I'm not a slim person, but I believe that I was built this way for now. I'm working on myself, but my husband will enjoy every part of my body, the folds and everything. He can lick all that place and be happy, and I'm not ashamed of it. I put the lights on. This is who I am, and this is who will please him, and I'm not ashamed of it. So, as Pastor Chiva said, some people, they lick under their feet and their tendon and everything. Go out there and explore each other's bodies. It's like you're on Jumanji adventure, or you've gone to Kenya. Your spouse's body is your adventure. Every day explore something new and enjoy each other.
Reverend Charles, shortly.
Yes, and as my wife, everything she said is exactly how we have to continue to pursue our sex life. It's an adventure. We're only 18 years in marriage after 5 children. My wife keeps asking me, don't you get tired of sleeping with me? And I always keep telling her, the day the rapture occurs, I'll ask Jesus for just a little 5 minutes grace so I can do my final performance before I go to heaven, because it's a journey of discovery. You see, God is so intelligent, wise, and smart that he will not create something that will bore you. So if you're bored, then you need to find out what is going on. And from everything we've said tonight, one of the take-home wisdom gems that I want everybody to not forget is find out. Don't be quiet. Don't sit down. Don't make assumptions. Always get feedback from each other. How am I doing? Did I do okay? Get feedback. And then when feedback is requested, be honest. Don't lie. Don't lie to please, because it will backfire eventually. God bless you.
Hey, we have enjoyed it. I wish it wasn't 9 o'clock, but don't worry. I will come your bedroom next week with sex in marriage. But please, do practice, do pray about it, do communicate, talk about it. There's nothing dirty about sex. God bless you. Mama Rabba said something. If you're enjoying sex, you would enjoy everything. If you are confident enough in your bedroom, you'll be confident about everything. I love you. Have a good night.
This Friday.
Coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning and Sunday evening. Make a date with Apostle General. WMG camp. Give me the keys. God bless you, and we love you.
The World Movers Generation of Royal House Chapel presents Movers and Shakers Conference 2021. It is the annual gathering of youth from across the nation for a time of spiritual impartation. The theme for this year is Give Me the Key. Speakers Apostle General Sam Kranchi Ankra, Reverend Mrs. RITA Kranchi Ankra, and Bishop Charles Ajinosari. It is happening at the Oil Dome near Obechebi Lamte Interchange. The dates are Saturday 28th August from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Sunday 29th August, 2 services, morning service at 10 a.m. and evening communion and impartation service at 5:30 p.m. This conference will be live on Facebook at Sam Kranchi Ankra, on YouTube at Powerline TV, and on your favorite Christian television channel, Powerline TV. It is the Movers and Shakers Conference at the Oil Dome. You don't want to miss this unique encounter with God. Give me the key.